excited to talk to this guy. He fights Georgi Karakhanyan on August 26th. That same card that Benson Henderson is headlining against Patricio Pitbull. His name is Bubba Jenkins, and he is joining us right now via the magic of Skype. There he is, Bubba. Half his face, but I do see him. Bubba Jenkins, how are you?
You see me, my man?
Oh, now I see you. There are those lovely eyes.
Get that facial features in there, baby.
That's right. Okay, there's a lot to talk to you about, my man. You are a... is it fair to say you are a bit disgruntled right now? I mean, I've seen you go on Twitter. You're tweeting up a storm. You are pissed off that you are now on the prelims of this card. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to create some noise so I can, you know, get all the people to watch me as much as they can wherever I am, whether it's on the prelims or on the main card. I basically wanted to pull some a Conor card, as you was talking about Conor, and you know, get everybody involved on social media to follow me, basically. Now, and it definitely went trending #2, so I was happy about that.
Okay, but this is an important fight for you, for the division. When you were offered this fight, when you were first approached by Bellator, were you told initially that it was going to be on the main card?
Yeah, I was told initially it was going to be on the main card. The first fight that I actually had with Georgi, this is Georgi Bubba J2, and the first fight that we actually had was co-main event. So it was pretty disappointing to hear that it's on the prelims. I obviously have friends back home and tons of people who want to throw Bubba J fight parties, so to not have that opportunity kind of was like, oh, man. But, you know, I'm excited either way. The results will be the same. The fight's going to go the way I planned it, and I'm excited about it.
What was the reason that you were given as to why they bumped you to the prelims?
I believe the show got shortened. I think it went from a 3-hour broadcast to maybe a 2-hour broadcast. So,
okay,
you know, I think I mean that's the reason I got.
and here you are tweeting about it and being very vocal about it. Have you heard from anyone at Bellator like, hey man, can you cool it on this stuff? Like maybe do you think they're upset? What do you think? Has anyone reached out to you?
No one's reached out to me, but I think it's, you know, along the lines of promoting the fight. You know,
sure.
if people want to see me fight, or if people are making a noise about it, they're going to go to the prelim cards on, you know, SpikeTV.com and check out the fight, or they're going to look for it on Spike TV, regular TV, and try to, you know, see if Bellator actually pushed me up or did whatever. So I think I'm promoting the fight like they want me to do, and you know, I don't think it's, you know, I think any publicity is good publicity. yeah,
to a degree, yes. Not all the time, but I do think that you're doing a good job promoting the fight. I mean, here you are talking about it on this very show.
I got on your show doing it.
That's right, and I heard that was on the bucket list, right? You've wanted to be on this show for quite some time.
Yeah. Come on, man. MMA, the MMA Hour, that's definitely on everyone's bucket list. I don't care if they lie to you and tell you that it's not.
Oh wow, well I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have 2 fights left on your Bellator contract, correct?
Correct.
So obviously you want to win this one. Are you going to try? I mean, I remember when you first came into MMA, there was a ton of buzz. You know, one of the big prospects coming out of college and national champion, all that stuff. Are you going to try to test the waters, or do you want to stick around in Bellator and try to sign a deal before you officially become a free agent?
Well, you know, I never bite the hand that feeds me, and I don't want to give you no cliche answer, but my bread's being buttered at Bellator. You know, it's going down in the BM. I don't mind Bellator. And they like me too. So, you know, I'm pretty excited with everything that I have going. I want to be at the top of that division in Bellator. So I don't see myself leaving anytime soon without getting that strap. You know, I came into Bellator looking for that belt, and I would feel like I would wasted, you know, 10, 11, 12 matches or fights in that organization without getting that strap. So, you know, I'm headed for the gold, and that's all I can see. I'm focused on Georgi Karakhanyan, and everything else is going to fall to the wayside because I don't get distracted too easily.
Recently, you changed your nickname, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is interesting because you used to be called the Highlight Kid, correct?
That's right.
Now you're I'm a bad man. So, Bubba, I'm a bad man, Jenkins.
Yes.
But go ahead. The reason for this change is because of Muhammad Ali, correct?
Absolutely, man. I you know, like most of the young black kids in America, you know, I wouldn't even say young, around the 20, 30-year-olds. I mean, we grew up idolizing Muhammad Ali. And, you know, I wanted to meet Muhammad Ali when I was at Arizona State, him living out in Phoenix at the time. You know, I had a couple opportunities to meet him, but the schedules just never met up. And I was like, oh, when I get big, I'm going to meet him. Don't worry about it. And his passing really did something to me like it did to a lot of the people in the combat community and just in America in general. So I was thinking, man, I was already thinking that I wanted to get a name change. So I was thinking, man, what can I do? I was thinking Butterfly Jenkins, and I was like, nah, that ain't gonna work. then I was going to think Handsome Jenkins. And I was like, nah, I'm not that. But after I start watching, more Muhammad Ali interviews, and I'm watching Muhammad Ali all the time to just check his footwork, I was thinking, man, in memorial of Muhammad Ali could be an acronym for I am MMA, So it was I'm a bad man. And he's always like, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. So IMMA stands for I am MMA. And it stands for In Memorial of Muhammad Ali, Badman Jenkins.
Okay, now this is a lot to process here, because when I think of a nickname, I think of is Bubba your birth name?
No, it's not. I was 11-pound baby, so I was Bubba on day one, regardless of what my name was.
Okay, but isn't Bubba your nickname then?
Yeah, technically, if we want to get technical, yes, Bubba is my nickname. But I mean, I can't even say that I can stick to a nickname, because they call me the Unicorn Slayer. They call me the Robust Brown One. They call me the Highlight Kid. They call me the Bad Man. I mean, every other week they call me No Cliche Bubba J. So I mean, every other week I got a new nickname. So I'm just putting one down so people can actually have something to go by.
But okay, and again with the nickname, like you're at the gym right now, people aren't saying like, right, "Hey, I'm a bad man. What's up? How was your night?" Good, right? Isn't that the point of a nickname? Like, you know what I mean? Again, going back to Bubba. So I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around why you felt the need to change it when you're not really using the nickname for what it is.
Right. Well, a lot of people do call me a bad man, so they wouldn't say, "Hey, okay, I'm a bad man Jenkins." It would just be like, "Hey, bad man." Bad. It would just be like, okay, bad man.
Fair enough.
But,
all right.
A lot of nicknames in the sport are self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
A lot of people have given me my nickname. So, when people call me certain nicknames, it's not one that I actually go by. And this is one that I was like, you know what? Because of Muhammad Ali and because I'm already looking for a name change, this is one that I'll actually go by, that I self-proclaim.
I feel you. But by the way, Butterfly is a great name. I love Butterfly. That's an awesome name.
Well, I couldn't think of like how I could make it look mean, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, Butterfly, and then my boys back home from Virginia, they ain't gonna be too hyped about that one.
Let me tell you something. Bubba the Butterfly Jenkins is money. You're gonna get a tremendous amount of press and coverage and cash if you are the Butterfly. I'm just saying. I don't know, like if you had an executive committee come up with this nickname, but
put it on Twitter and see what they.
There might be something there, my man. There might be something there.
That was my name. I was throwing things to the wall, see what stuck, and it didn't stick. So,
okay,
maybe Twitter can say differently.
Fair enough. Now, on a less lighter note, you fought the late Jordan Parsons. You beat the late Jordan Parsons not that long ago. In fact, you were his last opponent. And I was reading this. I think you did an interview with Bloody Elbow. Amazingly, this fight is on his birthday.
Yeah, man. I had a couple of his friends reach out, and leading up to me and Jordan's fight, we were talking trash. Yeah. We had, conferences where we were both on the phone and, on the MMA podcast, MMA Roasted podcast. And I mean, we were going back and forth. He called me out. I answered the call. And so there was a lot of animosity leading up to this fight. And, so after I got the victory, it wasn't, I'm not a classless person, nor do I call people out. I wait till someone calls me and then I respond. So after the fight, he was just like, man, much respect to you. You got the win. I thought I was better than you. I thought I was this. And I reciprocated that. I was like, you were a tough opponent. We won all 3 rounds. I pulled it out by split decision, and I was excited about getting that victory. And so we left it as friends, even though leading up to the fight, I did not like the guy. We almost got in the fight twice before the fight even happened.
Wow.
At the weigh-in, and we were just walking around the hotel, and we actually ran into each other. And honestly, we had to be separated 2 times before the fight even happened. So, after I was hearing that he had gotten hit and run, and this is before he was dying, this was when he was in critical condition, I'm with Tip a Fighter. I started this organization with a friend of mine to basically help fighters make more money, inside and outside of the cage, to basically capitalize on their time that they're in the cage. So I started Tip a Fighter, and I was thinking, if I can get a profile for him on my tipafighter.com page, so people can tip, and help with his bills. It's just like a GoFundMe almost, but it's for combat, for athletes and stuff. So it was just like that. But I was telling all his friends to let me know, give me some information, let me know what's going on with him. I was calling people who were at the hospital with him, because I truly, truly care. Not only cared about Jordan Parsons, but I care about all these other people that are in this game. A lot of people don't realize that we're humans, that, our Twitter, where you can say this and do that on Twitter. But, we got to care about each other, because we're in there putting our lives at risk in a sense. So, I reached out to his family, his I think it was his girlfriend at the time, and she just let me know that his birthday is actually on the same night that we're fighting. Wow. And I did everything I could to basically raise money for him, and it was just a sad situation. And I prayed for his family, and it comes full circle because I fought him. We met up in the cage that same night, and anytime, anywhere, it could have been me instead of him. So it just makes me think about it in that kind of concept.
Given that history, did it sort of give you chills when you found out that you were fighting on his birthday?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't something that, I used to deal with death very hardly. My dad died when I was 9. I had a lot of friends die leading up while I was in high school. So in the beginning, when people would die, I would be sickened for, 3 or 4 days. It was hard on me. But as I got older, death happens. As I got closer to God and knowing, my spirituality levels, it happens. And that's something that we deal with life. There's happiness and there's sadness. So when I heard about Jordan Parsons I was his last opponent I knew I was the last person to know how good he was and how good he could be and how good he was going to become. It definitely, raised the hairs on the back of my neck when I heard that, 1, he died, and 2, the next time that I fight, is on his birthday. So like the connection between me and Jordan Parsons is undeniable. I'm not sure what it is. The fire that we had leading up to the fight, the friendship that we had after it, the death, me trying to do a tip of fighter for him, and the fight and to find out that I'm fighting on his birthday. I mean, there's just a connection there that is, it's just crazy. But, I definitely want to stay focused on the fight. But I'm definitely, after my fight, after I get this win, if I do get the interview, I definitely will be shouting out his family and the fact that people need to remember him for the great athlete that he was and the good person that he was.
Tip a Fighter, by the way, how is that doing? Do you find that a lot of people go to the site and do tip the fighters?
Absolutely, man. It's doing great. I'm excited about, what it stands for. And I think it needs to be a little bit bigger later down the line. I don't think people really realize how much the fighters are lacking as far as compensation. And when it comes to, really helping other fighters, helping the community, helping us as a unit together, I'm not saying unionize, but I'm just saying really getting a situation where we all can help each other inside and out the cage. I think it's doing great, man. And I think the more people who understand the concept, the bigger it will become. I think some people are misled on the education of the concept. It's simply these fighters go out there, they have a good time. You guys go to the bar, you tip the waiter, you tip the waitress, you tip the taxi driver, and the fighters are giving it all out there. And, it's just like showing your appreciation for that hoorah moment, showing your appreciation for when you win. You put a bet down on these fighters, you win $3,000. It's like going to, tipafighter.com and saying, man, you won me $3,000 and you was losing. I thought I was going to lose $1,000. Here's my appreciation. It's just basically a platform for people to show their appreciation for us fighters.
Now, can I tip any fighter out there, or do they have to have a profile on the site first?
They have to be on our roster. But what we ask for is that people who are fans of Tip a Fighter or people who want to tip, they just hit up those guys on Twitter. Everybody's reachable now. So we hit up everybody on Twitter and say, hey, we want you to be with Tip a Fighter. I know plenty of people who have come to the Tip a Fighter page and was looking to give money away to fighters who are not with us. I know that there was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he lost a fight that everyone thought he won. It happened in the UFC. Everybody thought he won this fight. And there were so many people hitting me up like, hey, how can I tip this guy? I thought that was a bullcrap call. I think he won the fight. So it was like, hey, man, I hit him up and I was like, bro, you probably missed out on a good $3,000, $4,000. So many people wanted to tip you because you got cheated in the cage. And it's really tipping for any reason. You can tip for not getting choked out. You can tip for doing something that they've never seen. It's just an amazing platform. And I think people just need to be more educated about it. So they have to be on the roster. They have to have a profile on our page. They can just contact us and we'll put them up there. It costs them nothing to be a part of. I mean, I don't ask them for anything but to say, yeah, I want to be a Tip a Fighter, and that's it.
What about tipping reporters? Is there any? No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding.
We'll set you up.
By the way, you were talking about the finance stuff. We were just speaking to Benson Henderson about this. Do you support the idea of an association? As you know, this has gained a lot of steam, /union, that type of thing. Do you want to see this happen in MMA?
Absolutely. It's hard to have uniforms and things like that have the word union in it and actually not have a union. It's a little bit, as a fighter, you don't want to say anything that makes you become on the outside of the cage. But now that it's getting so much steam, I always felt that us fighters need to stick together. Us fighters need to say, hey, man, that's the UFC just sold for $4 billion. Viacom's got crazy money in the Bellator. So, it's smart for them to keep it where it's at. If I was one of the owners, I would be like, hush, hush, I don't want you guys talking about it. But as a fighter, I want to get us together and say, hey, let's sit down. They got a players association in NBA where, they come together and they agree on things. Same thing with baseball and football, all the major sports. And I do truly believe MMA is a major sport, and it's one of the fastest growing sports. With them bringing uniforms involved in it, I think that it was obvious that we need to come together and have some kind of union when there's uniforms involved. So, I think it just makes it obvious that it's coming. The people who speak up in the beginning who aren't big names probably will get some backlash. But, I think the more press and the more people who back it it will definitely happen. It's just going to take some due time, and I think the quicker we talk about it, the more we talk about it, the more big name guys get on there on your show and promote it a little bit more, then the more traction and people will be like, you know what? That's an interesting concept. There's some people without fighter insurance. There's some people without, a fair compensation. There's two guys fighting for the same title, fighting for the same thing, and they're getting paid lopsidedly. It really is about the community of fighters who need to stick together. And I think it takes one big fighter to say, you know what? I know I'm on the main card. I know I know everyone's waiting for this fight, but I'm pulling out and I'm not going to fight until they get something where we all can be equally compensated. Because I think, I don't know numbers seriously, but I know about 3, 4, 5% of the big name guys are really the only ones in MMA really getting paid. Everybody else is getting crumbs. So it takes those guys to say, hey, you know what? I am my brother's keeper. I am my fighter's keeper. And, I want everybody to get paid equally.
Wow. Well said. Have you been told by Bellator that if you win this fight, you will get a title shot?
No, I haven't talked title shots with them. I don't really talk about or look into what Bellator is going to do with me. I really focus on what I have to do. My steps. I know that I'm no cliche Bubba J, and I don't like. I don't like to have those cliche answers, but honestly, I focus on what I do because I don't put my trust in man. The world didn't give me my peace, and the world can't take my peace away. So if I start trusting in man and thinking that they're going to do this and they're going to say this and they're going to say that, and then they don't, then that starts to distract me from my main goal. And as long as I continue to win and continue to be Bubba J, continue lacing these interviews with some incredible elocution, then I'm going to do what I got to do.
Bubba, great to have you on the show, my man. All the best to you. Great debut. I look forward to it. August 26th. Let me add to the chorus and also say that you should be on the main card. I mean, you and Georgie alone, that's great. Your first fight was great. I mean, it's a bit of a head scratcher, but if they ran out of time or, they've got names like, isn't your boy AJ McKee on the card as well?
What's up absolutely. With that? He's fighting a tough opponent in Hearing Corrales. We got a couple people from Body Shop on that card.
Take him out. Take him out. Take his spot.
Right. I don't do any of that. I focus on me, baby. Let everything else fall where it's laid. If it's the good road, it's the narrow road. So that's the road that's traveled alone. So I'm going to just do that.
What a pleasure. Great stuff, Bubba. I appreciate it. I'll be watching on Spike.com on Friday, August 26th, the return of Bubba Jenkins. Really appreciate the time, my man. All the best to you.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate you for having me on. Next time you need someone to fill in a couple 5-10 minutes, I got you, son.
All right. Thank you very much. There he is, Bubba Jenkins, one of the top stars in Bellator's featherweight division. He is fighting on the main card, the prelims, wants to be on the main card, has made that very much known and deserves to be on the main card, especially against someone like Georgie, but them's the breaks, and he is making the most of his opportunity.